This time I'll be talking about something which interests all of us, and we are every day we are burdened by this decision. So that is where to invest. We are we have more savings every time. Now we don't know where to invest it. What will bring the best results? I think these are the questions that constantly haunt us. I'll try to answer this question from a very empirical perspective. As a student of economics, I think I do this analysis often. The first thing we have to understand how the capital has evolved over the period of time. And I'm not talking about from very short-term perspective. I am talking from a perspective of 400 years. In last 400 years, the whole capital composition of capital has undergone a change. I think that will give us very important insight into where to invest in the future. Obviously, I understand, as you may also note, is that the future is not related with the past in a linear manner. But I think this is the most important assumption to be made to simplify the things. But we'll analyze further either in this episode or in the next episodes. Let me start with how the capital composition can be broken down. So we broadly divide capital into 4 different categories. I think that would make and every amount of capital that we talk about can fit into these categories. One is the farmland. I think that's historically has been one of the most important asset or capital for all of us. The second one is housing, the real estate we call it now, and which is beyond farmland. It's like you can think of the wetland and dryland in different countries. They are termed like this also. Third capital is basically the other form of domestic capital, which include industrial capital, which include jewelry and other bullions that we would like to keep. It also includes financial assets and industrial assets. So they're all clubbed as other domestic capital. The last one is the foreign capital. Now, the foreign capital, because of globalization, its impact, its importance keeps on changing, but it is important to include this also into discussion. So what has happened to the agricultural land has been one of the most important source of capital or wealth to the people. That was true for agricultural society. So looking at the period from 17th century, I'm talking from 18th century, let's say, the capital used to be 400 times of national income. The agricultural land or farmland used to be 400 times of national income. Now, after 400 years odd, their value is just 10% of national income. So what has happened over the period of time? The importance of farmland has declined. And that's why what we find is that people are converting their agricultural land into real estate, because the agricultural land is giving less returns. The quantity of land has remained the same, but their value has declined. That's why their share in the national income has declined so steeply. Does it make sense now to invest in agriculture? I think this is one question it raises. The second thing is that if agricultural land or farmland's value has declined, which has gained over the period of time. And in conclusively, if you look at across the globe, Europe, America, Latin American countries, what you find the share of housing, the value of housing, that's real estate in the national income, has increased very significantly. It is now 4 times of national income. So it means people are investing most in the real estate because this is bringing the largest result, followed by almost 350% or 400% is the other domestic assets, jewelry, financial stock. In last 20 years, the financial assets have picked up, but the problem is the volatility of the prices. So they keep on fluctuating, not in terms of quantity, but in terms of value. So I think what insight we get is that we need to look for a better investment opportunity in the real estate. I think that's where the urban property we are talking about, or industrial capital, and then the basically, or look at the other domestic capital, jewelry. Indians are known for buying jewelry. I think we can continue our investment in jewelry. We can continue our investment in industrial capital. I think this is where the entrepreneurship should come into force. And I think these are the ventures in which we can think of investment in the future. Now, the question comes, is the past is related to the future in a very linear manner? The answer is no, it's not related. So when we actually look for the investment, drawing inference completely on the basis of past, I would warn you against that. Don't do that, because that will make mistake. Now that is where everyone's own insight into the future plays a very dominant role. So I will not suggest what you should do. Try to have your own insight into the future. This is where the risk-taking capacities come. We all have different risk-bearing capacity. difference in terms of analytical abilities. So no one can claim to be right, perfectly right. No one can claim to be perfectly wrong. I think with this, I'll end today, and I'll come back, friends, in future with more detailed discussion on this particular aspect. And I would urge you, if you like my work or if you like the discussion, please subscribe to my channel and follow it. And I'd like to come back, and you can give me advice at what needs to improve, what area you want further discussion, the areas of disagreement. I think this would help us to have a more engaging discussion in the future. Thank you, friends.